I didn't realize how emotionally exhausted I was until my body started forcing me to slow down. And honestly, for the longest time, I thought being drained was part of being ambitious, that you needed to work hard, that you needed to spend long nights thinking of different ideas or building the business and not giving yourself the grace to just pause. I thought constantly thinking meant I cared. I thought always being emotionally available made me a good person. I thought carrying everything for everyone was a strength. But over time, the truth was much louder than that. No matter how much time I've rested, I still felt very tired, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It was like my nervous system was never taking a break. And the scary part was that outwardly, my life probably looked amazing to other people, but I was creating, I was building, showing up online, showing up for people, helping people, holding space for people. But internally, I was emotionally hemorrhaging into everything around me that I didn't realize it. Into people, into stress, into projects. Oh my goodness. And I think a lot of people are feeling this right now, especially people who are deeply empathetic, creative, ambitious, or emotionally aware. So I wanted to make this video because I don't think people talk about emotional bleeding enough. Not from like a clinical perspective, but from a real human perspective. I think one of the most biggest things that emotionally drained me was constantly being on, always accessible, always there, always a yes person, always emotionally available for anybody. And I didn't realize how much energy I was giving away because it became normalized. People would access me whenever they wanted. And when you're someone who deeply cares about the good things and for people, it's easy to be caught up in others, especially when you're building something very important or building a business, especially when you're a creative, because creativity also requires a lot of emotional energy. And on top of that, you're carrying conversations, expectations, pressure, trauma, other people's emotions, social media, responsibilities. Eventually, your nervous system feels shot. I want to teach you something that has completely changed my perspective around emotional exhaustion, energy, and personal power. A lot of people think that burnout comes from working too hard. Honestly, I think many people are emotionally hemorrhaging throughout the day without even realizing it, because they're consciously or unconsciously leaking energy into everything around them, into people, into the headlines of social media, and especially social media, into anxiety, into overthinking, into relationships, and into perceptions. And eventually your nervous system operation begins to shut down by feeling overstimulated, emotionally tired, and always mentally carrying something. So in this video, I want to break down what emotional hemorrhaging actually is and what happens psychologically and spiritually, why it destroys magnetism, and how you can reclaim your energy back. Because emotional energy is a life force, and most people are spending it unconsciously. So first, what is emotional hemorrhaging? Emotional hemorrhaging is the leaking of your energy outward faster than it is being restored. And the dangerous part is it happens very subtly. You don't notice it immediately. It builds slowly over time. Here's what it could look like: constantly overthinking, replaying conversations, carrying other people emotionally, doom scrolling for hours, obsessing over perception, staying emotionally attached to painful situations, and never allowing your nervous system to fully rest. Most people think that exhaustion is only physical, but the emotional exhaustion is far deeper. But the nervous system keeps a score. And that's why people wake up tired before the day even begins. Their nervous system is never fully powered down. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that attention is everything. Attention is energy. Where your attention goes, your life force follows. This is actually deeply connected to Hermetic teachings. Energy flows where consciousness goes. So think about your average day. So much of your emotional energy is being consumed by comparison, stress, fear, notifications, validations, people who drain you, situations you can't control. Most people are mentally everywhere except within themselves. And over time, fragmented attention creates fragmented energy. This fragmentation destroys emotional clarity. It destroys nervous system regulation. And honestly, it also destroys your magnetism as well. Let's talk about the nervous system for a second, because a lot of people are spiritually exhausted when really their nervous system is overloaded. Your body was never designed to process this much stimulation constantly. Think about modern life and social media notifications, doom scrolling, emotional comparison, pressure to perform, constant accessibility, endless information. Your nervous system barely gets silence anymore. And when the nervous system remains overstimulated for that long, people begin living in survival mode without realizing it. This creates hypervigilance, emotional exhaustion, anxiety, brain fog, emotional numbness, and difficulty being present. And eventually, your body starts leaking energy simply by trying to survive emotionally. And this is why it's so important to protect your peace. Another huge form of emotional hemorrhaging is overgiving, especially for empathetic people. A lot of people confuse self-sacrifice with love, but constantly abandoning yourself to save other people becomes self-destruction. And I personally had to learn this the hard way. And some people are emotionally tired because they haven't created those emotional boundaries. They became everyone's emotional support system, everyone's therapist, everyone's safe space, but never became that themselves. And eventually resentment builds, exhaustion builds, emotional numbness builds, because energy was constantly flowing outward without restoration. One of the most powerful things you can learn is not everybody deserves emotional access to you. That realization will definitely change your life. Now let's talk about magnetism, because everybody wants to be magnetic, right? Because emotional hemorrhaging weakens your energetic presence. When your nervous system is scattered, your energy becomes scattered. You overexplain yourself, overthink, seek validation, emotionally react to everything, and people feel that instability unconsciously. But grounded people feel different. Why? Because their energy is contained, directed, present. Magnetism is not loud. It's self-possession, it's emotional regulation, the ability to hold your energy and immediately shift the room. Their nervous system feels safe inside themselves, and that groundedness creates gravity. So how do you stop emotional hemorrhaging? Well, first, you need to ask yourself, what drains me constantly? Who drains me constantly? What overstimulates my nervous system? What emotional cycles reopens wounds? And secondly, not every opinion deserves access to your mind. Not every conversation deserves your emotional energy or your reaction. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access to you. And third, create moments where your nervous system can finally breathe. It's okay to isolate yourself. It's okay to go for a walk, go spend time with nature, rest, journal, meditate, create without pressure, being offline. People tend to underestimate how healing stillness actually is. And lastly, connect with yourself, because emotionally hemorrhaging people are often disconnected from their own inner world. They're constantly externalized, constantly focused outward. Healing begins when your energy returns back to you, back to yourself. And I honestly believe the greatest forms of personal power today is emotional containment. The ability to protect your energy in a world that is constantly extracting from it. Your attention is sacred. Your nervous system is sacred. The more intentional you become with your energy, the more clarity, magnetism, peace, and creativity return into your life. So if you've been feeling exhausted lately, ask where your emotional energy has been leaking lately. That question alone can transform your life. Sometimes healing is not becoming something new or someone. Sometimes it's finally learning how to stop bleeding energy into everything that doesn't deserve you.